Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and I am back from Canada. Woo! I'm also back just in time for Tango to kick off Phase 5 of Decked Out. Now, before he does that, we need to gather some fish to make sure the Guppy Geyser is properly stocked before everybody runs around and finds out how many shards we get for the next phase. Ooh, also, spoiler alert. Not really a spoiler, but Tango has blocked the door to Decked Out with pumpkins for Phase 5. So I'm hoping he has something spooky in store. But, in the meantime, let's gather some fish and talk about visiting Ontario, Canada. Now, my first time I ever visited Canada, I was only 5 years old, and we went to visit family in Montreal, which is the French part of Canada. In Quebec, they say things like, no Ingles, and parlez-vous français. But in Ontario, we didn't actually run into that problem. I did stare for a long time at a menu that said prefix or prefixy at the top. It was like on a TV screen. I was like, oh, it's going to alternate to the English variant soon. But my fiance says that prefix A is Italian for like a meal where you order like all the different things like at once. You get like an appetizer and an entree and a dessert. But I forget if my fiance was saying something like prefixy or prefix A. But then the server said prefix. And I'm like, I know what a prefix is. It goes before a word. So, you know, I feel like I've learned a lot already. You know, another thing I noticed in Canada was in terms of the signage. I had to drive a car, y'all. I have not driven a car since my car accident when I got rear-ended a little while ago, which has been like a whole thing. Like, I finally got the money from the insurance company. And then, actually, just before I left for vacation, which was super stressful, they sent me a message saying they overpaid me and they need $1,000 back. So, yeah, that's fun. I have a Patreon, by the way. Patreon.com/JoeHills. Anyway, so I'm driving a car for the first time since the accident in a foreign country. And I'm like, okay, this isn't that bad. You know, of course, it's a kind of car I've never driven before. It was a big... So I ordered, like, a medium sedan, which my old car was a Honda Fit. And I was like, a medium sedan seems like it should be fine. And then when we got there to the car rental place, they're like, well, the only car we have is this, like, electric thing. And I'm like, uh-oh. We didn't plan to rent an electric car because we're going to like Stratford, and I'm not sure if Stratford has electric car chargers, and I don't have internet to find out now while I'm standing in the car dealership place, you know, car rental place. So I'm just like, and they're like, well, you can wait a while and we can see there's some cars down in the shop that are getting cleaned up. Once those cars are cleaned up, they'll bring them up here, you know, all vacuumed and ready for you, you know. And I'm like, okay. I don't know how long I want to wait for, you know, the car I originally asked for and paid for. And they're like, well, you know, the electric one, that's an upgrade. You know, we're giving that to you for free. I'm like, yeah, but it's not an upgrade if my fiance told me to get one that uses gas and then we can't charge it and I look like I didn't listen. So, yeah, I'll see what you guys have. And so then... the guy pulls up in this, like, huge Jeep. Like, I think of my... Oh, no, I didn't get more buckets. Sorry, I'm actually recording this as I'm gathering the fish. This is not like, oh, let me overlay this with some footage I got earlier. This is just me, like, gathering fish. We get 2 stacks of buckets at a time. We get a bunch of fish. We keep going. It's fine. It's fine. This is the sort of chill activity I can do while talking about my trip. And I want to do that while it's fresh on my mind. I am still a little jet-lagged. We just flew back. Like, my fiance is on their way home to London now, and I just got back to Nashville recently. I had time to throw my clothes in the laundry and grab groceries and stuff. But yeah. So anyway, this is all still very fresh on my mind. So anyway, they gave me this huge Jeep Wrangler, I want to say. I don't know. But, like, it had, like, a touch screen in it and stuff. My car is from 2008, or it was before it got destroyed. So, like, I'm like, I don't know how any of this works. But luckily, even though it didn't have a place to put the key, it had a start button. I was able to learn to drive the car One thing I was expecting is every car I've ever had a, like, speedometer with 2 sets of numbers on it, like kilometers per hour and miles per hour. This one only had kilometers per hour, so I wasn't ready for that. But, like, in fact, it kind of made it easier because all the signage was in kilometers per hour. Although there was one thing that was weird about the signs. Like, so the exit signs would be, like, huge. They would span, like, the entire highway, even if the exit was only 2 lanes. And that kept freaking me out because I kept thinking, like, oh no, I don't need to get off here. But this whole road is getting diverted into that. Nope, they just like big signs. I guess they have a lot more space up there in Canada, so they might as well go big. But that's fine. That's fine. So anyway, another weird thing, though, about the Canadian road signs is they would have a sign that said something like, Kitchener, 5 interchanges, or, like, Kitchener's the name of a place where they make cars, apparently. I learned a lot about this because one of the guys who sat next to me on the plane, like, programs robots for Toyota, and he was on his way to Kitchener. And the other guy made hotel furniture. And he said a lot of making hotel furniture is, like, going to hotels and inspecting where the furniture gets damaged and then coming up with, like, clever solutions so it doesn't get damaged there anymore. He was telling me that the worst place to go for his job was Louisiana, because he would get in there and the guy running the hotel would be like, oh, look at all these desks we've had ruined from people doing crawfish boils. What can you do about that? And he'd just be like, you know, we didn't really design, none of these materials are designed to have a crawfish boil directly atop them. Like, we would have to completely make something else out of metal to, like, deal with that sort of heat and humidity. And, like, you basically need kitchen equipment, not hotel furniture at this point. But anyway, so yeah, I sat next to 2 guys on the plane on the way there. One of them was going to Kitchener to fix car robots for Toyota. The other guy was flying back from Nashville, where they were talking to hotel people about their furniture. And I will say, though, we got into one of the hotels, and I noticed just at eye level, one of the mirrors had, like, a metal bar going across it. And I'm just like, you know what? I bet a lot of people came back to this hotel and punched themselves in the face. And then the solution that this guy's company came up with was, let's just put a metal bar at eye level. So they punched the metal bar instead of the glass. But anyway, yeah, so there'd be a sign that would say something like Kitchener, population, you know, a few 100,000 people, and then, like, 2 interchanges or 5 interchanges. And, like, all of these different towns would have a sign with the population and then the number of interchanges. And I'm like, okay. Like, I remember being a teenager in Tennessee, and people from small towns occasionally, like, I lived in Tullahoma, which was, like, one of the big cities. Not really, but no, it wasn't a city like Nashville, but it was kind of one of the bigger towns. You know what I mean? We had, like, 40,000 people. And people from the, like, you know, fewer than 10,000 people towns, they'd be bragging about, oh, yeah, we got a second stoplight now. We're really moving up in the world, that sort of thing. And so I was just, like, seeing these signs for these interchanges, and I'm like, are they just bragging about how many stoplights they have? Like, that seems like I've never seen anyone do that outside of Tennessee. It's funny how the more you travel, the more you find people with things in common with you and your countrymen, right? And so that's really cool, you know, but I did look it up later. Apparently the number of interchanges means, like, if you see, like, Kitchener 2 interchanges, it means, like, Kitchener next 2 exits, which, I mean, we've seen signs like that in America, you know, because they'll be like, you know, oh, hey, you know, this town has multiple exits. Don't just get off at the first one. You might want to get off at a later one. But I didn't know that, and there was no signage explaining that in the country. I had to go back to America to find that out. But, I mean, I'm already learning things, so, you know, that's good. I am excited about that. Let's see, we're gathering some fish here. I'm using some shaders. This is Rethinking Voxels. I've been experimenting with this. I did some decked out exports with it, one of which I published from that Tango Tech thing a while back. But I gotta say, when I'm swimming around here gathering fish, I usually don't do that in the episodes. I'm sharing this with y'all now because it's a very soothing thing for me. This is something I can come do and just relax and feel like I'm making progress on something on the server without having to worry about precise block placement or block pallets. I'm just thieving fish's lives away from them and taking them to die in the most important place to die on the server. Decked out, you know? So, yeah, that's cool. But, let's see. So we're gonna stock some of these empty buckets in here. Then we're gonna continue talking about Canada. Yep. So, for those of y'all who haven't already heard, I'm currently engaged to my fiance. Most people who are engaged to their fiance, so that part might not be news to you. But my fiance is from the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And so we have had to file a fiance visa application with the United States government. And during that process, what they call the applicant immigrant cannot visit the United States until the process is complete. So basically, we were going to hang out in London whenever I got the chance, since my fiance couldn't come here. It turned out, though, when we were looking at me flying to London over my daughter's fall break this year, which just happened, it was going to be so expensive for me to fly to London from Nashville that week that it would actually be $1,500 cheaper for both of us to converge on Toronto, which is a ludicrous savings. I forgot the buckets again. Don't worry, y'all. I'm good at Minecraft. I'm just not good at tasks inside of Minecraft. Why did the water not break my fall there? I feel like I should not have taken fall damage. Whatever. It's fine. So, anyway, because my fiance cannot come to America until the visa is approved, and we don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully, sometime between April and August, but the window on that is very broad. And there's a lot of factors in play. So anyway, we basically said, what's the cheapest place we can both fly to? Let's fly there, and then we'll figure out, like, once we've got the tickets purchased, we'll figure out what we can do when we get there. So we were like, well, these flights to Toronto are so cheap. We got to lock them in. Boom, purchased. That's like, okay, cool. Now, where are we going to stay in Toronto? And we start looking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all of these hotels are, like, so expensive. I'm, like, looking, and all the hotels in Toronto, like, $400 to $600 a night. And I'm like, yeah, we're saving some money on the airfare here, but that's not feasible. And I did some more research. It turned out there was a surgeons convention in Toronto that week. And so, even though it's very cheap to fly into Toronto for both of us, the actual city itself was just, like, not going to be a feasible place for us to stay. So instead, we rented a car, and we went first to Niagara, Ontario, which is the Canadian side of the Niagara Falls kind of waterway system, which I gotta say, we visited Niagara, New York last October, literally like the exact same week because it was the same time my daughter had off from school. And the Canadian side is a lot nicer. I had suspected that. I've been told that, but like I didn't really understand it. Because one of the problems is from the New York side, there's not really a lot of great views from the fall or of the falls that aren't like part of the tour or visiting Goat Island and stuff. So like in New York, you go to Niagara Falls and you get on observation platform and then you ride on the Maid of the Mist boat and it's awesome. It is really cool. It is worth doing. If you can't leave America, go see Niagara Falls from the American side. It's worth doing. But if you can leave America, oh my gosh, the Ontario side, because the city of Niagara, Ontario just faces the falls aren't something you just like go to see. The falls are just always there. Like, you go to a restaurant and Niagara Falls is out the window. You go in your hotel room, Niagara Falls is out the window. Like, it's just like a fixture. And this is going to sound really weird, But, like, a lot of things in America, a lot of things that for entertainment value, you might go somewhere, like, to go see a movie. And they turn on the film, and you enjoy it, and then the film turns off and you leave, right? You know, when you go to Dollywood, the roller coasters only operate when there's people there, right? But the thing about Niagara Falls and, like, sites of natural beauty like that, like visiting the sea, what makes them so distinct from these man-made attractions is that I forgot the buckets again, but also that they're always running. Like, I wake up and I look out the window and there's Niagara Falls. And it's just like, what? That's absolutely bonkers. Luckily, now I will say, you want to be careful about when you go in terms of pricing if you're price conscious. Luckily for us, October is kind of considered the tail end of tourist season. Like, the tourist season ends at the beginning of October, and since we went mid-October, we were still able to enjoy good weather because we got lucky on that. But we also got decent prices on stuff. So if you're like, oh, let me go at the peak of tourist season, you might not be able to get a good room like that for as cheap as we did. But I do recommend October is not a terrible time most years. The last 2 years that we've been up there, like I said, the first time we were on the New York side, this year we were on the Ontario side. Both times the weather was pretty good. Can't count on that every year, but hey, if you can make it work, I really recommend it. But yeah, Niagara Falls, just a lot of water. You know, you're just looking at it and you're just like, geez, it's a lot of water. And it just keeps going. So yeah, strongly recommend Niagara in October. They had a bunch of other stuff. We didn't do all the attractions. They had like mini golf and arcades and stuff. We didn't really do too much of that. We did do the big Ferris wheel thing. That wasn't too expensive, and you get a great view of the falls. I might have a picture here I took from the Ferris wheel. Let me see. But yeah, the view from the Ferris wheel was spectacular. It was very chill. We did a few rotations. You could see the whole little city of Niagara. We also did a winery stop at King's Court Winery. We picked that one because they had pumpkin carving. And we realized once we got there, like, I was thinking, like, some places I've been to that have pumpkin carving, they've got, like, a porch full of pumpkins that guests have left, you know? And I was like, oh, we'll just carve something and leave it for, you know, the next people who come through to admire. But they didn't really have that there. They just had pumpkin carving, and there was nowhere for us to put pumpkins in our hotel. So, uh-oh. Did I reload the shaders? I did reload the shaders. So we ended up not doing the pumpkin carving, but it was clearly a good draw because it got us out there. But yeah, we tried a bunch of their different wines. Wasn't too expensive, and then we picked up a few bottles to take with us for the rest of the week. It's really cool just getting out to where people work like that and trying their stuff for, you know, like, it's always better to buy from the source of things if you can. And so, like, we've got a winery in Nashville, well, outside of Nashville, called Arrington Vineyards. And I've always enjoyed my visits there as well, doing their tastings. So it was cool trying to do something like that in another country. Wasn't really that different, although there was different wines. We didn't try the ice wine because the ice wine had, like, a separate, way more expensive tasting. Apparently they make that from grapes that freeze on the vine, which is very hard to do and expensive. So, yeah, we did not do that, but maybe next time, if things are going well, we'll give that a go. I do think it would be worth going back. I had a lot of fun, and especially since I've got some younger nieces and nephews now, taking them and my daughter to do, like, more of the mini golf type stuff in Niagara could be cool in a few years. Not all of them are walking yet, but they will be someday. So the reason we had to rent the car was because getting from Niagara to Stratford wasn't going to be easy. You might say, Stratford? That sounds familiar. Isn't there a Stratford-upon-Avon in England? And you would be correct, my very brilliant YouTube viewer. There is a Stratford-upon-Avon in England, and you might associate that place with good old Bill Shakespeare for some reason or another. But there's a reason that Stratford, Canada, was of interest to us, and that's because that's where Canada's Shakespeare Festival is hosted. The Stratford Festival has been around for a long time. They've got 4 theaters at this point. They've got a very talented in-house company, but then they also bring in outside talent as well. And so we were very lucky to see both their own company, the festival company, as well as some of the outside talent they brought in the form of Paul Gross to play King Lear in particular. We have, my fiance and I have both enjoyed Paul Gross's work on Slings and Arrows, which is probably one of my favorite Canadian television shows. I mean, it's better than Little Mosque on the Prairie, and that's saying a lot. So, anyway, I was really excited to get to see Paul Gross play Lear, because the 3rd season of Slings and Arrows is about Paul Gross's character directing King Lear. Also, I haven't actually gotten to see Lear performed on stage before. I was familiar with the play, I've read it, but, you know, it's always different seeing something in person. And Gross is very good at playing characters who are sinking into what Shakespeare might call madness. I know that's not necessarily the clinical definition, but this was written before the DSM, and so to some degree, the expectation of the actors is based on the expectations of Shakespeare's time, as the characters would be written to act in accordance with their expectations of slides into madness. But yeah, Paul Gross in Slings and Arrows had played a character who had actually basically lost his mind while playing Hamlet and was now running a theater company. And it's a great show. I really recommend it. But it was really interesting to see his take on Lear. He is someone who knows how to be funny at the funny beats, serious for the serious beats. Absolutely nailed it. So, and the rest of the company, unfortunately, I wasn't familiar with them in advance, but everybody was great. The actor playing Reagan in particular really did a fantastic job. And it's funny, too, because when we were walking back from the theater to our hotel, Paul Gross, who had just gotten off stage playing King Lear, actually, like, walked past us at an intersection, kind of heading roughly the same direction as us, but, you know, not exactly. But I was just like, was that Paul Gross? My fiance's like, yes. And then the next day I saw this guy in the pub, and I'm like, is that Sean Astin? That was not Sean Astin. But for once in my life, when I was like, is that a famous person? It actually was. So, you know. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Sean Astin would visit Stratford. He was in Stranger Things. So, I mean, I've heard of Stranger Things than going to Canada. I went to Canada. Anyway, so I got to see a celebrity, both on stage and off stage. But yeah, we didn't bother him because he was obviously going home after 3 hours of performing an incredibly intense performance. He didn't need us being like, "Oi, mate, we just saw you in Lear, isn't it?" You know, so yeah, wasn't going to do that. But it was fantastic. Fantastic show. It runs through about the end of the month. So if you happen to be near Stratford, there probably are seats available because they've been running since April. So that, you know, local interest is kind of wound down. You might be able to grab a seat even last minute because there were some empty seats there at our showing, which was admittedly on a weeknight. So maybe the weekend shows are harder, but yeah. Now, we did also attend a show that we had seen on the festival website called Goblin Macbeth. And we didn't know it at the time, but apparently 2 of the people on the show had worked on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. One of them played the engineer in Season 1, Hammer, and the other one was a writer for Strange New Worlds. We didn't know that. We just thought it was some people doing a goofy Shakespeare Goblin thing. Because I love comedy takes on Shakespeare. I'm a nerd, you might have noticed. And so I'm like, Hey, look, there's a Goblin version of Macbeth where a bunch of goblins find the script and try to play Macbeth. That could be funny. And it was incredibly well done. It was a 3-person show, although one of the 3 people spent most of the time playing instruments. There was like a table with a whole bunch of instruments, like whistles, bells, tambourines, all sorts of stuff, at the back of the stage. And so one of the 3 goblins mostly just did music and Foley effects, like pulling props off the thing, or musical stuff off the thing. Primarily playing accordion, though, which was a lot of fun. I love a good accordion. As a longtime Al Yankovic fan, I forgot the buckets again. But yeah, it was absolutely incredible. Goblin Macbeth is also running until the end of October. Both of these are shows I strongly recommend if you are anywhere near the Stratford area. I don't think you'll be disappointed. You know, I mean, obviously, if you're the sort of person who're like, I hate Shakespeare, well, it's gonna be Shakespeare, but it's really good Shakespeare. Both are fantastic. We saw Lear on like Wednesday night or so, and then we saw Goblin Macbeth Thursday for the 2 p.m. matinee, which was actually their first showing. That was like the opening show, was the matinee on Thursday. And Goblin Macbeth was literally packed. There was not a seat open in the house, which was actually like a whole thing, because a teacher didn't give her students the individual tickets and just kind of told them to find seats. And then the ushers kind of were in a mild panic as the show started 12 minutes late as a result. But yeah, it was fine. Yeah, at that point too, there was one couple that that was actually like legitimately running late, and so they came in. Like I said, it took them like 12 minutes to get all these high school students seated, and then this one couple comes in at like, you know, like the ushers had clearly just given up at that point and just let them come in 13 minutes after 2 o'clock. And the show hadn't really started yet. Like, the goblins were, like, starting to warm up the audience. Because it's kind of like, there's a lot of crowd work in this. It was really cool. But, yeah, so the goblins are, like, warming up the audience and starting to talk into the people. And then these 2 last people come in at, like, 2:13. And one of the goblins is like, "What? You thought 2 o'clock was just a suggestion? What is your excuse? That's not rhetorical. What's your excuse?" And the people are like, "We couldn't find parking." And all the goblins are like, "Oh, okay, parking. Yeah, no, that's fair." And then they like jump back into their thing. But yeah, no, it was really cool. They had the audience play Macduff's Army, and they gave a bunch of us branches to wave around. So I got to wave around a branch, you know, as Macduff's army is approaching the castle. Dun, dun, dun. I don't want to spoil it, but they made a lot of really smart choices with how to stage Macbeth, and Macbeth is actually a play that I've seen on stage before, unlike Lear, and so I had a pretty good idea of different ways you could stage it and things. But yeah, doing a 3-man Macbeth where one of the people is mostly playing instruments and the other characters are like jumping around between roles continuously. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, once again, if you're watching this in October and are in Canada, Goblin Macbeth and King Lear are running through the end of October, basically at Stratford. I am not getting paid for this. I paid for my own tickets. I say that. My fiance bought the tickets. I paid for the hotel. This is kind of how we were splitting the expenses. I was like, okay, I'll get the hotel, you get the tickets to the show, that sort of thing. So I guess I technically didn't buy my own tickets, but like they weren't provided by the theater. My fiance bought them. So we drove back from Stratford to Mississauga, which is where the airport YYZ was in, because we didn't want to be in a rush to get back to the airport the next morning. which did give us a chance to do one kind of thing in Toronto. If you count like Matheson Boulevard of Mississauga as part of Toronto. And by that, I mean we got to participate in the Maple Pinball League's Friday night tournament. Well, I say participate. I competed. My fiance was pretty wiped out from the day and decided to just hang out. Basically, any of the machines, they had about 79 active machines in the tournament, but they were only using, let's see, there were 36 players, 4 at a time. They were only using 9 out of 79 machines for any given round. So basically, my fiance could free play any of the machines they weren't using that round while we played the other ones. And unfortunately, I was very close to making finals, but didn't quite make it. Even so, I had a great time, got to meet some fantastic people, including Lauren Edwards, I believe, who runs the Bluffs Pinball Tournament in Scarborough on Thursday nights in the on the east side of Toronto. We couldn't make it out to that one, unfortunately, but let's go check on that door. Is it still covered in pumpkins? Still covered in pumpkins. That means there's time to put the guppies in before Tango gets here. But yeah, everybody in the Toronto pinball community was so welcoming and gracious. It made me happy to see that the welcome that we here in Nashville try to give out-of-state competitors or, visiting competitors is not unique to us. It made me just so happy, just seeing everybody being so cool and welcoming. So yeah, I had a great time playing pinball as well, meeting some cool people. Got to play Monaco for the first time, which is a pinball machine that has a target that moves. Not a lot of pinball machines have like a moving target like that. And then they had, some familiar games just set up differently. It was a good time. They had the Data East Jurassic Park, which you don't see that one everywhere. But it was really fantastic. If you're in the Ontario area and you're thinking about trying to get into pinball, seriously, Bluffs Pinball in Scarborough, like I said, I was talking to the person who runs that. She seems really on the ball, really just an incredibly welcoming and friendly person. I think you should definitely consider giving that a try. And then the tournament on Friday nights in Mississauga was incredibly efficiently run. We had a fantastic time. And I hope that if you're over there on the west side of Toronto, you check that out over by the airport. It was seriously, like a 7-minute drive from the airport. So getting there from our airport hotel was no problem at all. And yeah, I guess that's really all I have to say about my Canada trip right now. I'm sure that as I'm running Decked Out, I'll have random ideas and be like, oh, this reminds me of Canada. Eh? And then I'll tell you that then. But anyway, let's go ahead and hear what Tango has to say. Time skip.
Great.
Hello, friends. Hello.
Fantastic. Hey,
Hello,
Tango.
Tango.
What do you got on your head there, Joe?
A calendar to remind me of the inexorable passage of time.
That's
and also Scar being
How
hot.
much is he paying you for that?
Not enough.
Look
Scar,
at that.
pay me.
Not enough.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's at least a 2 shard deal right there.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Oh.
That's cool.
Nice. That is kind of cool. Yeah, I like it. Hello, friends. How we doing?
Hello.
Great.
Good.
Appreciate you guys stopping by. We're going to do a short little update and officially close out phase 4. And hold on one second. Okay, there we go. That's good.
Tango, you're ruining the lighting, the quality
He
here.
really does. All right, yeah, we're gonna wrap up phase 4. The dungeon is not open. Will not be open today. Like, there's no wardens on level 3 or anything like that. So just for you guys, it will be opening up Monday at this time, pretty much.
I was just raising my hand real quick.
Oh, I couldn't tell with your giant head. What's up there, friend?
I just was informed 2 seconds ago that Green did not submit my tomes. Is it too late?
Wait, why is it Green's job to submit your tomes?
Well, there was a whole thing. He had them, I had them, then he had them, then he logged out. Too
You
late?
had 5 days of the dungeon.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's
too
fine.
late. I've already done all the
late.
thing.
Oh
yeah.
my
Carries
god.
over
Well,
to next-
blame Green.
Yeah, you had no shards submitted. Just look at how good it'll be for phase 5 then, right?
Yeah.
Taking that crown.
All right. Let me get my stuff in order here. Okay. This was an interesting week. Let me get my secret stash of snow layers. Close this out. And blame green, yeah. Okay, we're gonna start from the bottom up. Okay. There, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3. Let me see here.
Would you hurry up and tell us for goodness
My
sake?
night
Let
vision
me see
potion
here
is running out,
time.
Tango.
Tell us.
You've got 8 minutes on that, Etho.
It's gonna get dark in here real soon once this potion runs out.
Jeez.
Okay, coming in 10th place, a 3-way tie for 10th place. We have Iskall, Pearl, and Impulse, each handing in 2 tomes.
Great job.
So let me find that. Where's Pearl's over here? No, that's the cleaning lady. Okay, so they get 1 each. So 1, Impulse gets 1, and Iskall. I'm not very good at finding
He's right here.
Mid left. There he is. Okay, cool. Iskall gets 1 for a 3-way tie for a 10th place. In 7th place, we have a 3-way tie as well.
Ooh.
Submitting 3 tomes. We have Hypno.
Right side?
Right side.
No,
Yes,
not all
okay.
the way there. Yeah, there you go.
So they get 1 as well. Hypno, Gem with 3 tomes.
Yay, Jen.
And Corrales, which is all the way down at the end here, I think, right?
Yep.
Corrales, also with 3 tomes.
He recognizes that face, but he can't find Hypno.
That's right. Well, this was a bit iconic. It's kind of hard to miss. Okay, coming in 6th place with 6 tomes all by themselves. We got the Doc.
Oh.
Great job.
Good job.
By the way, Doc, I thought you weren't doing tomes.
Dude, I got scammed so hard by your stupid shop. I had no other choice. Came out with 45 embers every time, and I got it's like a long story.
Stupid shop. Got it. All right, check.
Yeah.
Everything's working as perfect.
But I'm happy getting some points in. You know.
All right, so Doc gets 2 points. And then coming in 4th place, a tie with 7 tomes submitted. It's a tie between Joe and False.
Woo.
Oh, snap.
Nice.
So they get 3 each. 1, 2, 3. And False down here at the end. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Coming in all alone in 3rd place with 8 tomes submitted, we have Green.
Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Impressive.
Green with 8 tomes gets
Very nice.
3 points. 1, 2, 3. And then, coming in 1st place.
No way. It's a tie. No way.
What?
Is that a tie?
Oh, snap.
Wow.
20 tomes submitted.
Cub.
Is a tie between Cub and Etho.
Let's go.
Wow. So you
20.
both get 6 points.
That's crazy.
the
4, 5,
heck?
6. I know. Like, really? You both happen to stop on 20.
That's
1,
crazy.
2, 3, 4.
Cub, you
5,
had a
6.
decision to make. You left us on a cliffhanger there.
That's true. That's
How
true.
so?
Yeah.
He didn't
was-
show in his video what he was going to do, whether he was going to submit tomes or hold them or what.
Yeah.
That's the smart play.
Playing the
That's the
mind
smart play.
games.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. I decided
I
to
see.
submit them all though.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Well, there we have it. Yeah. Someone's getting a bit getting a bit tall there.
It's getting egregious.
I might change up my strategy next phase. I'm not sure
to
yet.
not be amazing. Yeah, if you could be less amazing. All right, so that's that. Let's distribute shards again. You guys can't run right now. The dungeon is closed, but we will give out shards.
Yeah, would you hold on and explain what's going on? Because we're all sitting here, we're all waiting.
Door's been closed for weeks.
Yeah, tell us
Got
why.
the shakes. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. He's taking a drink to get ready to tell us what he's doing.
Well, you guys know last week I was on vacation, so that was 4 or 5 days.
We gave you that. We gracefully allowed you to go.
And then,
But now what?
Now, let's just say 2 things. One, certain changes need to be made to the dungeon to level 3. And they've already been made. And then we also have some special new content coming up in the next phase that I wanted to get ready.
Okay, that's
I
exciting.
think you guys are gonna like. I think you guys are gonna
You
like.
feel bad about giving him the business now, B-dubs? Look at that man. He's slaving down there working hard for us.
I want some transparency.
No, that's right. Yeah. And then, honestly, just my life's been crazy with hockey and all the things and family stuff and everything.
Okay,
And
you had us
what's
until
going
hockey.
on?
Oh my god.
Okay, hockey is worth it, y'all.
yeah.
Let the man
Hockey
skate.
always wins
I had
out,
to
guys.
watch a 5-hour football game and a 3-hour soccer game.
yeah.
It was brutal.
I don't know who would do that.
Did everybody
Any
in the
other
chat buy a
questions,
desk
Moss
mat?
Man?
No,
What's that?
I'm fine.
Oh, I have a question. Are we adding
Yeah.
more Ravagers?
No,
No.
less.
Whew, thank God.
Anybody else want more Ravagers?
No.
Absolutely
You
not.
expect
I
it.
Show your
Yeah.
face, Etho.
I want
You went
more.
in a different direction, I thought, Etho. I was like, no, we need less.
Don't you dare.
But I do reserve the right to change them at any time. So right now I currently have no plans, but who knows? Who knows?
Nice.
Okay, shard time.
Shard time.
Shards.
All right, so we're changing. It's a minor change this week in how the shards are distributed. It's still a scale based on total frost embers you've ever earned plus your projected frost embers, based on runs that you haven't done yet and stuff like that. Long story short, it's going to be a little bit more scaled based on the current standings. And what that, math. And what that translates to is basically everybody's going to get about another shard, except Etho.
Good.
Wonderful.
I like
it's
this
perfect,
system.
Dude,
He's got like 23
Yes.
runs anyway.
He's got like 40 crowns still to defend, so
I
he's fine.
I
He's
find
fine.
it funny how we have this catch-up system, and he still has more runs than anyone because he just keeps buying shards.
Oh my god, the fish over here, Joe. The fish are
The
going
fish,
crazy.
I know the fish.
It wasn't
Etho
working last
gets-
week, so I had to overpopulate it this time.
Etho gets 1.
What?
Somebody's getting a full inventory of fish.
Cruel
Joe,
game.
listen, if you
What?
want shards, maybe
that's
let
a puffer
him
fish.
not
Did he
kill the
add puffer
dungeon
fish?
master.
Oh, they're everywhere. Oh man.
He doesn't want any shards, I think.
What?
I don't think he
Wow.
wants any. I think
This
he
is
has
freshly
any.
loaded.
Okay, I'll go kill
We'll
the
have his
puffer
shards.
fish. There you go. Should be fine. It's safe now.
Joe's clearing a path. There you go.
It's safe. Look, safe.
Get in there, you pansy. Come on. Go put the
Just a
stuff on.
fish massacre
Give him his
right here.
stuff.
It's safe.
Ow. All right, Joe gets 12 shards. Congratulations, Joe.
Woo!
okay.
Nice, nice.
Again,
should
there's a
subtract
lot
one
less
for the fish.
variation because everyone kind of got pushed toward the top end. And that's it. That's it.
Woo.
Do you guys have any, while everyone's here, is there any overwhelming feedback? I would love to hear it if you have any.
When do we get the trophy for the winning
Yeah,
the
when's the
phase?
trophies?
All right. I got to go make another one because I forgot that there was a tie. But
Let's go.
first trophies, I think we have
Oh,
Scar.
here we go. Yeah.
I'm getting very confused. Scar, here's yours.
Oh, yes.
For completing the run. Joe, you completed the run as well, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
I got to bail. I got to do some building. See you later, guys.
See you, Doc.
See you, Doc.
Thanks.
Bye, Doc.
And please hold while I go get a second trophy.
He gone.
Okay, congratulations, guys. Any feedback on the game? Besides
Yes.
too easy and
Yes,
everybody's
I got
taking
one. I
advantage.
got one.
I
taking
like it.
advantage of level 3.
Good game.
Go ahead.
Fix your keys.
Game's fantastic, Tango, but I might have noticed, and this was confirmed in my comments, that nimble looting isn't working quite
on my
right.
list. On my list, yeah. Yep.
Oh, also,
On my
you owe
very
me a
short list.
refund for when you and B-Dubs attacked me in the dungeon. You never actually gave me that extra shard. Thank you.
There you go.
I want a refund for my no key, no map run. Tango.
Can't make
You
that
didn't get a
happen,
map
sorry.
either?
Manager. It didn't give me a map or a key. I was
We've
so
run
mad.
we've run out of maps twice now. Like, I mean, we're at 932 times the game's been run.
Wow.
Like, can you guys just appreciate how many times to get? That's insane. Decked Out 1 was
lot.
run
Yeah.
like
Maps.
370 something times. It's crazy. And I feel like we're maybe halfway done. I mean, level 4 is not even out yet.
At the end of Phase 4, I am in second place, 1 point ahead of Cub and Scar, who are both tied for third. That's pretty awesome. And I cannot wait until Monday so we can run some more dungeons. In the meantime, though, you may have noticed that this episode was mid-roll ad-free. That's thanks to Patreon sponsor M. Lavis. In lieu of that mid-roll ad, I will now present a haiku of my own devising. Canada was cool, but the Deep Frost Citadel will freeze your whole soul. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.